Do you think you developed that earlier than the military, Anne? Do you think moving to France, I can only imagine being a British kid, a British 5-year-old, going into a French school with a load of
Yeah.
French speaking kids. I guess that got you out of your comfort zone at such a young age, didn't it?
You know what? It goes right back to the death of my father. My father passed away when I was 5 years old, just turning 6 years old, and that's when the family up and moved to France. Within a year or so, you know, we moved to France and we started a new life in France. And I can remember going to school in France the first couple of days, and I didn't have a clue. Well, first couple of months really. It took me about 3 months to pick up the language, till I could hold a decent conversation and read and write. As a youngster, you pick up, like a sponge. So that was never a problem, which I thought it would be. But I remember one day just coming back from school, the early days of France, and going into a den. We had a little den that I made, and I thought to myself, what the hell is going on? I'm at this school, people are speaking this alien language to me. All of a sudden gone from a city living to this countryside where I'm looking around and there's fields everywhere, not much going on. I've got this new man, stepfather came into our life as well. This new house, new country. I can remember thinking to myself, and don't try and understand what you can't understand. And I can remember in that moment thinking to myself, just let all of that go, control what you can control. And what I could control at such a young age is my mindset, the way that I thought. And I can remember just thinking to myself, concentrate on yourself, concentrate on how you're feeling, concentrate on how you're thinking, because that you can understand, that you can control. So from such a young age, and I sort of thank my father for this, the positives out of my father's death, is I started self-reflecting from such a young age. So from that moment onwards, I started breaking down how I felt, started breaking down how I was thinking. Why am I thinking like this? Well, I'm thinking like this because of A, B, C, and D. And why am I feeling like this? I'm feeling like this because I'm in a new situation. I'm scared, and it's fear. I need to harness this fear and make it work for me. And what that allowed, it allowed me to be brutally honest with myself as well. So in order to self-reflect and to break down the way you're thinking and the way that you feel, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with your emotions. You have to be honest with the situation. The situation is, bloody hell, my father's no longer here. I've got to fend for myself, and I've got to really, step up to the plate and take charge of who I am. So all of that going through my younger ages, through my younger teens into joining the military, it gave me a great mindset already. I'd already dealt with negativity because the death of my father, moving over to a foreign land, shall we say, having to speak another language to communicate in a different way was all negatives that I managed to flip into a positive. And then all of a sudden, I'm reaching the end of my school days, and I'm like, do you know what? I've got so many tools in my armory that I'm not scared to take that big leap into the big wide world, because I've already done it at the ages of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, going into my early school years. So when I joined the military, and we touched on it earlier, I already had that mindset. People say, oh, did you adopt this elite mindset in the elite forces? It's like, I had the elite mindset in order to get into the elite forces. So, I would always put it down to, and again, I always say you can pluck a positive out of any negative. And it might not be in the moment. It might take 20, 25 years like it did with me, when I thought to myself, wow, I started reflecting back then. And I can remember the moment almost, but I couldn't back then. And it took me 25 years to pluck a positive from the passing of my father. But, it's always there. The positives are always there. You have to be willing to put the graft in, to go in and look for it and work for it and encounter setbacks, negativity, failures along the way, but always understanding that, listen, there is a positive if you're willing to go there. So I carried that on into my military days, and then I got bored of the army quite quick. I thought to myself, do you know what? I've gone in there, I've joined the Royal Engineers, I've done P Company, I've got best recruit, best PT, and I thought, do you know what? I'm gonna join the Marines. So I went from getting a Maroon Beret, which you do in the Paris, you get a Maroon Beret with your parachute wings. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try and get my Green Beret and my Commando Dagger in order to push forward onto the ultimate goal, which was the Special Forces.